Daryl, thanks for your explanation, having read this material. I just kind of want to understand if we didn't go with these guys as a sole source provider, what would that mean in terms of the existing lighting we already have? Would it be, is it something that couldn't be used if another company installed different lighting on these other ball fields?
I'm not sure they'd be quite so compatible with the system we have. Our intent is to have everything controlled by the one base.
I understand that, but I guess what I'm getting at in my own mind is, how there wasn't bidding on this project, right?
Well, on the installation, yes,
On the
that's the next
installation, but
item.
not the product.
But not the product. In the past, we've had, I mean, I can think of about 3 lighting projects we've had that when we put the specification out there, no one is able to provide anything other than Musco with their bid in order to meet that. And it's my understanding that no one provides a better warranty than Musco for this type of lighting.
I read that. I guess I'm just trying to understand in my own mind how the town ensures that we're being treated fairly. Clearly, they were willing to work with us on our budgeted amount, and I appreciate that on their behalf. But I guess I just don't understand in any instance when you're restricted to a sole source provider, how do you assure that you're getting a fair deal? I just don't know how you can do that.
Well, you kind of have to look at our history, the quotes that we've had, the bids that we've had in the past. No one has been able to meet that specification other than Musco.
That kind of means they're the only ball game in town, is that?
That's a nice pun.
Well, and you know, they do light a nice ball field. Don't get me wrong.
Yes.
I mean, and I assume the computerized control system has worked out very well,
Yes.
and that everybody's been happy with that. There's no question this is a great product. I guess I'm just thinking in a broader sense about this whole issue of sole source obtaining of a product and how to just how to ensure that you're getting a good deal over the long haul. I mean, when it comes around time to do the next field, now I guess you use the past as a reference for this issue, and now I guess you got to use this bid as a reference for the next time around because you got nothing else to compare it to. So I'm just thinking
we will
about
continue looking if that helps, but looking at our costs in the past, this quote is about what we anticipated.
Okay, let's go for it then. I move approval.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion approved. Daryl, let's go ahead and explain again instead of going to number B, approval of the contract for the installation of athletic field lighting at Mayor Bob Leonard Park. We need to approve both of these contracts separately.
That is correct.
Okay.
Yes, the next item on the agenda is contract 2011-09. That is the installation of athletic field lighting at Mayor Bob Leonard Park. This is the installation of all of the fixtures and poles that were actually just purchased. We obtained bids on Thursday, October 14th for just the installation. We received bids from Holly Electric and Sheridan Incorporated. Those are outlined in the memo that I provided in your packets. We asked that they provide prices for the lighting of Field 1, which is the West Baseball Field, as well as a separate bid for the volleyball field lighting, and then a combined price for the two. We were hoping with the combined price that we might see a little bit of discount for quantity there. Unfortunately, if you look at it, you just add the two together and you get the third price. But I'll go over those bids now. For lighting of Field 1, the west baseball field lighting, Holly Electric, bid $43,638. Sherrod Incorporated bid $11,283. For the volleyball field lighting, Holly Electric bid $14,324. Sherrod Incorporated bid $25,226. And for the bid for lighting both fields, Holly Electric bid $57,962, and Sherrod Incorporated bid $36,509. With the reduced quote from Musco at $123,490, staff recommends that we award the contract to Sherrod Incorporated to light both fields for $36,509. Those two prices together, they come to just $1 under our budget amount of $160,000. In all of our lighting contracts in the past, they've been very straightforward, as is this one. So we don't anticipate any change orders in this. So staff makes the recommendation to light both fields by Sherrod Incorporated for $36,509.
I like the fact that you included that they've done work for us before. Sherrod has, and that we've always been pleased with their performance. So I think we need to note that. Any other comments from the board?
Feel confident with the time frame for this project, February, which of course is right before the start of the new seasons, that will be met?
I think that shouldn't be a problem.
Any comments from the audience?
Could I ask one question? Am I reading this right, that on the baseball field contract, one of these bids is, what, $32,000 more than the other one, and that on the volleyball fields, the one that was low on the baseball fields is $12,000 more than the other one?
It was our guess that they got the two fields flip-flopped, but we did contact Sherrod, and we said, look, there may be a problem here. Would you be okay if our board agreed to do just the baseball field? You're looking at $11,000. What happens if you get that bid? And they said they would be fine with it.
That one field to one and the other field to the other.
It'd be a total of $25,000. It'd be an $11,000 savings over what we got having the one.
I just wonder if there's...
I think I'd rather shoot myself than
For $11,000, we might let you.
you probably would.
Well, and the reason I ask is that in these bids, when there's an obvious error, sometimes the bid won't stand up, and if there's not some explanation for such a divergency, I guess I just want to make sure that down the road we don't end up with some problem. But if we give both of the contracts to the same contractor, then I don't think there would be a problem. It just...
I'm still not convinced that the two numbers aren't backwards, to be honest with you.
Do you know both of these companies well?
I'm familiar with both, yes.
I mean, could this be something as simple as one has whatever major equipment under their own hat and wouldn't have to rent it or lease it to do this project, and that's why the differential exists in the bids or something like that?
It's possible that one company may have put all of their profit on one item, anticipating that that our intent was to do only one of the two fields.
Do you think maybe they actually had more interest in doing the baseball project?
I don't know.
Just wondered. But you don't like the idea of splitting it up at all, do you?
I really don't.
Well, actually, Alderman, if you did split it up, you'd have to rebid the project because you can't just cherry pick a bid like this when it's out for bid. So you couldn't pick one on one and one on the other. You'd need to go back out and explain exactly what you were trying to do in that bid. So in this case, you can either go with one or two or both, but you can't do one with one company and one with the other.
And David, that is true even though you stated up front you wanted separate bids on each individual piece of work.
That's correct, because you're looking at the low bid for one project or the other project, or for both pieces, but not one or the other, if that makes sense. Just like if you were buying uniforms, let's say, and you had somebody had a cheaper shirt and somebody had a cheaper pair of pants, well, then you're going to bid whoever bid the lowest for the whole price, rather than for the whole uniform, rather than one shirt here and one pair of pants here.
That's interesting. Answer me this then. Suppose you hadn't asked for the third collective bid. Suppose you had just asked for the first two independent bids. Would that then leave you open to select either party separately or one party collectively?
I think you'd want to specify that in your bid if you were going to do that. If you want to specify that, then sure, you could do that. But you need to say that on the front end. I don't know if we were necessarily specific enough about that in this bid process.
But that might be a procedure worthy of using in the future.
It could be if we wanted to do that. Like Darrell said, I think they may be looking at profit on one field versus the other, so you never know how things are going to go. And we were hoping that they would give us both fields at a reduced cost because of the bulk of the work being done. However, it didn't happen in this case. We still got the lowest bid on both fields, though, from, I believe it was Sherrod. So I think it's a good bid for the board's consideration.
I think, too, in past contracts, we have included the acquisition of all the equipment, which the board has already agreed to do directly from Musco. There is a profit in that markup, and it's possible that at least one of the contractors has said, I normally make X amount of dollars total. I'm going to put X more dollars. I'm going to make that same amount regardless. While the other contractor may have looked at that and said, I'm okay, I'm just going to charge for installation.
Comments?
I think as long as, now that you've followed up with Sherrod and pinned them down on this lower bid, then I'm okay. When you see a discrepancy like that, sometimes you need to make sure that they've included everything, or else they may end up coming back later and saying, oh, well, that was obviously a mistake. We forgot to include thus and such in the bid, and
Right.
that was apparent. But you've pinned them down, and I think they'd be held to that lower price. It just bothers me when I see on a $43,000 project, I see one bid's $30,000 more than the other one. It's a
Right.
huge percentage swing. But I'm okay with the understanding that you've called them and pinned them down on it, on their willingness to do it for the $11,283.